Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video. I haven't posted in a while. Uh, you know, I've, you know, the market was kind of in a weird place, so I didn't really want to say anything. I think it's better to speak about things, especially about the market, every once in a while. Because at the end of the day, I'm not here to convince you to do anything. You should make your own decisions and you should learn what to do, you but it shouldn't really matter. I only have like 3 people watching my videos. Uh, but since then, the market has kind of done some twists and turns. I think last time I said, hey, I'm seeing more opportunities in healthcare, and I was I was right in a sense, but you would have probably made more money going towards AI or tech stocks or high beta stocks. Um, that is true. Uh, but if you continue to hold those positions, which a majority of people would, um, you would have also lost more. And that's the difference between defensive stocks. So United Healthcare went from, if you bought at the highs, 370. So you would have lost a good amount. But it would have, even then, buying at the top is kind of not the best decision as well. But at the same time, it kind of stabilized more. I think it's a good time to buy a lot of these stocks. The reason I say this is what happened on November, I think November 18th, if I'm correct, Thursday. Today is November 24th. Last week, Thursday, the market had its biggest correction or crash, whatever you like to say. I would say crash. Biggest, I'm not gonna say crash, biggest downside since April from the tariffs. If you look at how the market went, obviously the SPY didn't really get affected, which is why I think that's pretty bullish in my opinion. A lot of people are gonna be saying, "Oh, we're in an AI bubble," which could be true. Nothing. There is some truth to that. There's a reason why this being said. I don't believe there's an AI bubble, at least for now. AI is used for everything. It's used for everything. It's improving people's lives. You could say, "Oh, robots, AI is taking people's jobs." There is some truth to that. But if you work for trades, it's actually going to be helping you. If you're in construction, if you're in plumbing, electrical, engineering, AI is going to be helping a lot. In those areas, medical field, AI is going to be helping a lot. It's not here to destroy the society. It's here to improve, and we just have to be with the terms, because unlike the dot-com bubble, you had no revenue. People were just speculating. People were like, "Oh, everybody's gonna be using this, and that." And I'm gonna explain what happened on Thursday. What happened on Thursday wasn't a crash. I believe the earnings kind of showed that there is a lot of strength into these stocks. But there's a big issue with that. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. Uncertainty. And if you're a hedge fund, right? Remember, this is their job. And retail traders, right? Like, probably you're watching my channel, who doesn't know what's who's not really focused on the market. They're focused on their job, they're focused on other things. And I'm not talking about the people who are sitting all day looking at charts and things like that. That doesn't matter. Look, in my opinion, if you really want to be really good at stocks, you don't give a damn about the MA50, MA moving average 200, moving average 10. That has nothing to do with it. Because if you focus on that, you're gonna kill yourself. Well, not kill yourself. You're gonna drown yourself. You're gonna, you know, especially if you work, you have a family. That's not gonna happen. You know, that should be the least of your worries. What you should focus on is if the company is out of debt, has good fundamentals, and is not over leveraged. Well, it doesn't have any debt, and they're profitable, and they're trying to improve. Moderna. Moderna, you know, it's a small tech company. And look, I'm gonna say this right now. I don't know if this is gonna happen, but I think there's gonna be another crash. Not a crash, probably a correction. There's more downside before there's more upside. I didn't finish what I said before. Let me get back to that. So before I move on, so like I said, as hedge funds, you gotta put food on the table. There's a lot of uncertainty. We don't know if we're gonna get interest rates. We don't know if the interest rates are gonna be cut. We don't know what's going to happen, and you know, anything could happen. And if the holidays are coming up and you just want to secure cash, you want to secure profits, you're going to sell. And this is where people are gonna say, oh, the stock market is rigged, this and that. Because what happened on November 18th when Nvidia announced their earnings is something that should have not happened. It was crazy. I bought right before earnings. I was like, man, it's going to go up. And I didn't buy it, you know, crazy amount, because you never know. So you just, I just had a feeling. I'm like, because if Nvidia failed earnings, the US would have a lot of explaining to do. Like we are getting so much revenue from doing trades with the AI with China, and what else does the US have? What else are we trading outside of that? We have nothing else. I can't think of the top of my head. You know, lithium. You have some metals. I guess oil. I guess maybe, but let's be real. No, we don't really have that much resources to give out. Well, food, agriculture, that as well. You also do that. But if we're being realistic, it's AI is what's driving this bull market. Is the one that caused it. And Nvidia, and people are saying, oh, Nvidia is causing demand. That's what a company is supposed to do. They're supposed to drive demand. And we use social media every single day. Google has been the best stock. Um, Google has been the best stock this whole year. Nvidia is barely up this year. It's only up like 25%. It's not a big deal. Nvidia has so much room to grow. AMD as well. This is my opinion. I think Nvidia could go to 225 by the end of the year, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm a believer that we're gonna get another interest rate cut. I think it's in the best interest of the U.S. that we get a interest rate cut. Considering that they want people to spend, because if people don't spend, then the economy goes down. You know, layoffs. The U.S. doesn't really care about layoffs, and like, unfortunately, there was a stat that I saw. I don't want to be this guy, but there is a lot more people now than there was back then, and you know, you just have to think, hey, if there is more more Google searches of how can I sell my house, how do I get out of this mortgage, this and that. And I saw a stat that said that we're at the same levels of 2008 housing crisis, and I'm like thinking, okay, well, there's more people that own homes now. Even though my generation doesn't have any houses, right? Gen Z doesn't have any houses, but you know, a lot of millennials are getting houses now. Boomers have houses. Gen X have houses. You know, it's a lot different 2008 than 2025. Whole different ball game. There's gonna be, you know, a lot more people investing. You also gotta think about that. A lot more profit. And yeah, today's not a video about telling you what to buy. You know, because I shouldn't really be telling people what to buy. Because you know, you just can't predict the market. Like I was saying, you know, as a hedge fund private firm, what are you gonna do when there's a lot of uncertainty? We don't know if people are gonna have extra cash to put into the markets, so we're just gonna sell. We're gonna make sure we have profits, while people who are just buying, you know, as a second source of income, they might get hit by it. But yeah, like when I say it felt like the stock market got hit, like that's when Trump announced tariffs, and you can check it out. It was similar. You know, the percentages don't match, but the Dow was down a lot. It was almost at the same amount of April. The difference is that the SPY went up a lot. You know, the same amount of points is you know, kind of not as noticeable as it was back then. Because I mean, what are you gonna notice? Let's say the SPY was 300, 350, and I'm not talking about the Dow Jones, I'm talking about the SPY. So let's say the SPY was 350, and then it goes down to 300. That's a big drop. That's like 15% maybe. Yeah, so But then if you're at 700 and then you go down 650, what is that, like 8%? So you also got to remember that it's not gonna look as bad on the surface, which is why, you know, I'm gonna just say this. There's a few things that you should look for when you are gonna buy a stock. Are they profitable? Yes. Okay. Do they have any debt to cover? Are they over leveraged? If they are, how are they paying it off? Do they have cash in hand? Do they have new systems to implement to bring in excitement to the company? Those are things that would drive a stock up. And you know, like in my opinion, I see I think there might be some downside before we have some upside. I don't want to create bearish news, because I don't want to be a guy who says, hey, everything's gonna go down, and that sounds terrible, right? I think, you know, if the market goes down in December, that doesn't sound normal, right? Like something has to be fundamentally wrong, which would make no sense with NVIDIA beating earnings by a good amount. Revenue was up a lot compared to last year, and you know, people are like, oh, NVIDIA's only needed like the NVIDIA GPUs will last you 3 years, so they're not gonna be profitable in the next few years, this and that. Come on, like, you're telling me that NVIDIA, that's been in business for what, like 5 years, 6 years, I think it's 10 years, I think they're 10 years, 2015 I think they started. You don't think that the GPUs, people aren't buying them? Like, come on. You know, they're gonna be buying. NVIDIA's the best in the game. You know, sometimes when this is the thing, when people start off, they don't know what they're doing. Let's be realistic. If you started this bull market this year on April, you go with full confidence. You're like, bro, everything's down. No, actually, you probably wouldn't even have invested in April, because you would have been one of those saying, oh my God, Trump is ruining everything with tariffs, this and that. Do you know what happened last time they did tariffs? The Great Depression, World War started. Well, it's different now. The U.S. does so many trades that tariffs should have been implemented a while ago. You know, I don't want to be sounding like someone who is anti you know, other countries, because no, if you're one of those that has to do a lot of trading with a lot of other places, because the US is not perfect. The US would rather have workers from other countries than pay people here. The US is not perfect. You know, do you remember Apple? Apple literally bought a plane just to have phones in that plane to avoid tariffs. You know, the US is very cheap. They would rather pay other countries tariffs they would rather not pay other countries tariffs. They would rather pay um people overseas to do work, to do business. Like, hey, you sign people up to make iPhones, and we'll pay. We'll buy them off you. That's basically what they do. That's what the Apple does. That's what I don't think the video. No, the video chips are made in China. Let's be real. Um, I'm pretty sure. I don't know everything, guys. But for the majority of the things, we get things from China. We get things from Thailand, Vietnamese. You know, we get them from other countries. And what do other countries get from us? Nothing. We don't really see. That's the issue. So we as a country, we're giving these other countries business, but it's like selling Pokemon before the boom happened. Imagine you were investing in Pokemon 2022, 2023, and you were selling booster boxes for 150, 140, and then 2, 3 years later, you find out these boxes are $500, $600. You're like, what? I could have held on. Well, it's not the same thing, because but point is you lost money because you wanted to be the good guy. You were like, oh, this guy really wants the booster box, just, well, I'll give it to him. You know, or this is a better example. I don't know, a better example. Let's say you buy off a lot of things from someone. You would rather buy in bulk. How do I say it? Look, if you're doing a lot of trades with other countries, and you know that the other countries aren't like super rich, they're treating the people who are making these iPhones, this and that, like terrible. Like they're treating them terrible, because the Chinese workers, Indian workers are not treated well. A lot of them, I heard a story where these Chinese workers in sweatshops, they have like a net, you know, on these buildings. So whenever they try to do suicide, the net catches them, because families are kind of forced into that. They stay like that. They can never move up. It's slavery. A lot of slavery in those countries, and that's why, you know, you should be happy that you live in the U.S. Yeah, and you know, the reason tariffs didn't work back then was because we didn't do a lot of trades back then. You know, we weren't as savvy of a country back then. We were just some rogue Englishmen saying, "What is a kilometer?" You know, we were a very new country. It's only the U.S. is a very new country. They were made in 16, I think it was, when they did the fourth independence. And when they signed the Constitution, 1716, 1776, 1776, 1776. That's when they did. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me, but they're very new as a country, and I'm not saying the U.S. is perfect, nothing like that. But tariffs is not going to affect the stock market. But a lot of people did think that. You probably saw that people were saying, hey, this is where generational wealth is, and you started investing. And then when the stock market started going down, you were like, hey, no, this ain't for me. You pulled out and stock market kept going up. You bought, you bought, you bought. Um, Nobody expected October 30th to be the the pop, because I mean, I'm not gonna say it's, the balloon, the bubble popped, but it was a punch in the face for a lot of investors, including myself. It was a punch in the face. October 31st was a punch in the face, because it was the highs, and then as soon as November hit, it was a downside, a really bad one. Hims and hers, I took advantage. I bought more. Hims and hers announced a buyback plan. That's amazing. That reminds me of Apple. Before it hit 200, they said, hey, I'm gonna buy more of my stock. Stock market is not respecting the price, and I'm gonna buy more. And I believe the same thing with Hims and hers. Now, mind you, it is a high beta stock. So if the stock market goes down 2%, that thing's gonna be down 20%, 15%. And let me tell you, as a stock holder of Hims and Hers, it has not been pretty the last month. Hims and Hers and Moderna. I'm a big believer in those two companies. The reason why I believe in Moderna is just how incredible they were during COVID, and it was priced in at 350. And obviously, COVID is not as scary as it was back then, but they are adapting to new cancer research. They're providing oncology treatments. You know, very, very beautiful things. I think, you know, because yeah, that's something that, you know, we're always gonna need solutions to those problems. And you know, the the worst the worst price is already set in. Centene, uh it went up to $40. I think it's gonna probably slow down a little bit, and then it'll reach to like 50s. I don't know, maybe it'll keep climbing. um I I would honestly, in my opinion, I would rather buy Nvidia. Um, Maybe that's a little bit dumb, but I believe Nvidia below 180 is a steal. I just see Nvidia hitting 200, 225. Very, very shortly. December. I see another interest rate coming. There's no way that after all this talk, they're gonna keep interest rates. I know they did two already. But they're gonna do another one. I just feel they're gonna do three. I don't know about four. It could happen. Four could happen. But I think if we have a fourth one, it's not gonna be as strong. And I think three is good enough. Three is good enough, and we're gonna see things going up. You know, even if we don't have a fourth one. I just think people, just hear too much noise. We're like, oh, there's not gonna be an interest rate. That's it. Stock market's over. Up. That's it. People realize AI is a bubble. People just wanted to sell, and they're gonna do terrible on their next report. No one's gonna buy Nvidia chips. Um, you know, it's funny to me. Very, very, very funny. Oh God, so bright. Okay, okay. Yeah, it's just funny to me. Um, you know, sometimes you just gotta think for yourself. Um, just look at the fundamentals. I think those are the most important things. Don't look at the charts. If you look at the charts, you're just gonna give yourself the biggest migraine ever. Um, yeah. That's about it. I don't really want to talk about buying or saying. I just want to give out my opinion. I think right now, basically a Black Friday special. That's why I think tomorrow we might see a little bit downside. Before we see more upside. Unfortunately, I don't think this is the last. I don't think Thursday was the last. Um, correction. We're gonna see. We're gonna see more downside. I did notice we finished higher than the last trading day, which right. That's the start, right? Start of the bull market, right, guys. Straight to the moon. Take out a loan, refinance the house. Come on, very tempting, right? But no, uh, you know, I do think it's a better buy than buying Pokemon right now. Cause let me tell you, man, Pokemon, I would be buying, but select things. Um, Fusion Strike, I would buy. Astral Radiance, I would buy. Brilliant Stars, oh my god, Brilliant Stars, I would buy. Lost Origins, yeah, I would rather get Fusion Strike if I'm being honest. For $50 more, $100 more, might as well get Fusion Strike. Um, Silver Tempest, yeah. Shedding Rain, yeah. I see Evolving Skies dropping. As crazy as that sounds, man. Um, I've talked about it in a previous video. I mean, who's gonna spend $2,000 on a booster box that a lot of people have? There's a lot of sealed cases. It's not like it's an old set. I mean, it is a very old set. We're going on for 5 years now. No, not 5 years. Came on 2021, 4 years, almost 5 years. Almost. Let's be real, almost 5 years. I think people are gonna be trying to sell Evolving Skies. I could see it going down to probably 1,500, the lowest, and probably gonna go up from there. 1,500 is probably gonna be the lowest, and then it's gonna go up from there. Do I see Pokemon reprinting all these sets? Of course. Surging Sparks almost hit 200, almost hit below 200. Journey Together is definitely gonna be under MSRP, and I think if Journey Together hits under MSRP, you're gonna see Destined Rivals around $200, $250, because a lot of people did invest in Journey Together, and if they can't move Journey Together, I mean, they're gonna have to try to move Destined Rivals. I mean, no one really wants Phantasmal Flames. Mega Evolution is cool. I actually like Mega Evolutions more than Phantasmal Flames. I haven't talked about the new sets, man. Oh no, I did. I compared it to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's doing terrible. Do I still think it's gonna go up? Yeah, of course. Um, you know, I just think people thought it was gonna go up, as soon as the holidays started. But I think the holidays is more of a buying time, to be honest with you. If as long as you didn't pay $1,000 for Spider-Man, you'll be fine. Um, you know, if you bought it from MSRP, what did you pay? Like $480? You only down $100, right? But yeah, I do believe in Spider-Man. Reason being is that you have that Soul Stone, you have the you just have these cards that are not common, very rare, going for thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, and you just can't find that anywhere else. I do think there will be more being ripped, in my opinion. I think this is the time to buy these sets, because this is just what's gonna happen. People are saying, hey, this is dipping, might as well rip it. I'm just gonna buy another one, buy another two, and let it ride, you know? And that's going to cause less supply. Remember, Magic only has one print set of this. So once it's gone, it's gone. It's not Pokemon. Pokemon is not here to make sure you know your collection is, well, they do check the market. Of course they care about that. But they also kind of care about the fan base. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Your cash. They care about your cash. Cause you selling on the secondary market is not gonna do anything for them. Give them publicity, but it's not gonna do anything. Cause I'm gonna be honest, I only buy things from the Pokemon Center. You know, if I can get them, I don't really. Even Walmart drops, I don't really go on Walmart drops. You know, bro, I have other things to do, man. You know, I'm not here being on my computer 24/7. But like, damn, like, bro, y'all don't get pussy or anything, man. Like, damn, bro. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but bro, like, do something else, man. I don't know. Like in my opinion, you know, I do sports, right? You know, if I have to focus on other things, I put those sports away, you know. You know, sometimes you just have to, you know, do what's best for you. You know, if you get burned out, are you gonna be like, hey, I don't care if these things get more expensive, I'm gonna buy more, because this is my hobby. This is my hobby. I grew up with Pokemon. I wanted to be Ash Ketchum. So it is my destiny to buy Destined Rivals for $400. It is my destiny. It means that I can afford it since it is my destiny. Like, bro, what the fuck? No, man. This costs like $5 to make. The only one who's winning is Pokemon. Like, look, I get it. This box is gonna go to $2,000 because Evolving Skies was the best set of Sword and Shield, and you know, Destined Rivals is the best set of Scarlet and Violet. So it's gonna be obviously $2,000 as soon as it's out of print. Well, guess what? It won't be out of print until 3 years later. Evolving Skies got to $2,000 4 years later. It hasn't even been a year of Destined Rivals. Hasn't even been a year of Prismatic Evolutions. You know, it's been a year of Surging Sparks, and Surging Sparks is basically almost MSRP. Well, almost 180, the new MSRP. The new MSRP. Because first it was 145 from Sword and Shield, and then now we're at 165, and then now we are 180. Crazy, right? Crazy world. Yeah, so you know, Pokemon is gonna up the print run. Like, it's no telling. MSRP will probably be 200 by next year, and I think that's when people are gonna stop buying, or maybe not. Maybe now's the time people are gonna stop buying. The reason being is I saw the stock market crash, and Pokemon did the same thing. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, all these coins, they crashed. you basically lost money if you invested in from the beginning of the year to now. Even if you invested on April 4th, on April, you lost money. It's kind it really sucks. And you know, the reason I would rather invest in the stock market than Pokemon is because, man, bro, do you know what it is to have to list the item, have eBay or wherever you're selling through, you know, take away 15%, and then you also have to buy a box, print a shipping label, and guess what? You have to make the guy pay for shipping. So even if you give a good deal, the guy's gonna be like, "Hey, can you do this amount? Cause, you know, the shipping and all this, bro." Guys, this is why I don't really care much about the sealed collecting this and that. It's not easy. You know, you will not have a life. If you want that life, the more power to you. You know, I just collect what I like. Fortunately, I don't see any rush to buy anything right now. You know, if you can find things online for MSRP, Ascended Heroes just came out. People are saying Ascended Heroes is gonna be the Pokemon set that brings everything back to MSRP. BS. Ascended Heroes is the best set we've had since Evolving Skies. I think it's better than Prismatic Evolutions. No. I think it might be like around Prismatic Evolution. In my opinion, I think the boxes and sex accessories and the design is a lot better than Prismatic Evolution. Prismatic Evolution just has Eevee. You know, it's a copy and paste with the Terastal Festival. I mean, it's cool, but no. The SPC is pretty cool. But yeah, we are definitely gonna see more downside in the Pokemon hobby. And fortunately, if you saved up, if you were disciplined, you were like, hey, I'm not gonna pay over MSRP for a lot of these things, I would rather save myself the headache, you're gonna have all these opportunities. You know, Paradox Rift, I think Paradox Rift is underrated. Paldea Evolved, it's a good set, it's not bad. I just think it's a little bit overrated. Paradox Rift, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's bad. It has a Groudon, it has a Garchomp, it has like this Goldingo with the other one, I don't know, the pre-evolution one. Gildo? I don't know. Dildo? What? Yeah. You know, this and also the Altaria and Swablu cards. Very nice. The set is very good. It's just a lot of people don't talk about it. Oh, it has the Roaring Moon too. I totally forgot about the Roaring Moon. And you know, in my opinion, I think the set will do very well in the future. Roaring Moon is basically Salamence, and you can say Temporal Forces is bad, but Temporal Forces I think could be a $500 box when it's out of print. I think Twilight Masquerade is a better buy because it has a Greninja. Surging Sparks is a lot better buy than all these boxes. I think Surging Sparks is the box to buy. I think if you really are serious about this, you should buy at least one sealed case of Surging Sparks. You're gonna have opportunities for Surging Sparks. You're gonna have opportunities for Journey Together, and you're gonna have opportunities for Destined Rivals. These three sets should be the ones on your radar. All the other sets are cool, but they didn't really focus main on older Pokemon. If I'm being honest, if there's a set that I would spend over MSRP, it would be Ascended Heroes. Honestly, that is my plan, to be honest. If let's say the Pokemon market doesn't retrace and things are over MSRP still, I would pay over MSRP for Ascended Heroes. You're telling me you have 32 special illustration rares, and they're not EVs. They're not EVs. You know, I'm sorry. To me, if you like EVs, you're a little bit fruity. Like, I'm being honest. I'm being honest. You're a little bit fruity. If you're a grown man and you love prismatic evolutions, I think you're fruity. Like, I swear, like, people were going crazy. All these crazy YouTubers saying buy prismatic at $100. Oh, it's the next Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies was cool because it had Rayquaza, Dragonite, it had an Umbreon card. Look, the EVs are not bad. They were pretty cool cards. This and that. You have that Noivern V. It was a pretty good card. Noivern V is a very nice card. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I think these cards in Evolving Skies, they appeal to both men and women. So it made an amazing set. But then you go to Prismatic Evolutions. It was good too, you know, but it was just Eevee. Like, the cover's just Eevee. I don't give a damn about Eevee, bro. I'm a guy. I don't give a damn about Eevee. Like, look. My favorite Pokemon is Dragonite. Dragonite's not the most, you know, crazy card, or Garchomp or Dragonite or Rayquaza, like those type of Pokemon. That's why I'm very excited for Ascended Heroes. Lucario too. Lucario and Greninja. Those are also my type of Pokemon. Ascended Heroes, Mega Evolution base set, I think are gonna be amazing sets. I'd rather buy those two than Phantasmal Flames. If it was up to me, I would only buy the UPC and the booster box. A few booster boxes. I don't really care about the booster box. You know, I'm not here to sell things by the pallets. I'm not here to sell cases. I'm just here to collect, man. You know, buy things that I like, buy, 3, 4 of them, and then sell them. You know, sell 2, 3, and keep 1. That's how I think. But yeah, you know, I think right now is a very good time to buy. I don't know about Pokemon. I think Pokemon still has more leg to go down. Look, Pokemon is closer to crypto than it is to the stock market. If you think the stock market is more related to Pokemon, you're an idiot. I don't care. Okay, you can hate me. I think you're an idiot. The stock market is made up of companies that show revenue. They make profits. You see the difference here? Pokemon's value is up to you, and me. We are the ones determining Pokemon's value. Stock market, it's not fairy dust like what Wolf on Wall Street is saying. No, there's fundamentals and there's a lot of thinking when it goes into these stocks. You know, because if it wasn't like that, I'm sorry. Because if you don't remember, like, what happened to the year 2000, 2001, where the dot-com bubble happened, I think hedge funds have learned their lesson. If not, more power to us who don't buy those ridiculous stocks. Oh, that's another thing. You're seeing a lot of these stocks going down, but a lot of these stocks aren't being a lot of stocks that shouldn't have been up are still going down. So you just have to remember, this is not bad. A lot of hedge funds are just weeding out bad stocks. So if you see stocks going up,
there's a reason it's going up. It's because the fundamentals are good. The company's doing great. So don't get discouraged when a crash happens and everything is down, because that's not normal. Something is wrong. But if your company is the only one that's down 20%, 30%, it was overvalued. Except if it's Tim Zers. Because that was just too crazy. I don't know how it went down that amount. It went from $70 to like $35, $33. I'm like, that's the best time to buy. If you missed out when it was $25, $20, this was the best time to buy it. People are saying, oh, it's gonna go back to $25. BS. It's not gonna happen. This is the best time to buy it. Like I said, there's probably gonna be one more crash before we see another big up, like today. Today was very good. Today was very, very good. But we're probably gonna see more downside and then more upside later on. But yeah, that's about it. I haven't made a video in a while, so I just wanted to talk my mind off, and see if I can get things right. Yeah. So guys, remember this video. Everything's gonna go to zero before it goes up. Remember that. Pokemon stock market is going to zero, and then we're gonna go back to the moon. Remember that. Keep that with you.
Peace.